and Spurs coming into it Spurs coming into it in actually horrific form. In terms of the form table in the Premier League, they sit 13th and we sit 16th. So two teams not exactly on the best form. You're looking at Palace, their last game in the Premier League was 4-1 defeat to Leeds, 3-0 defeat to Manchester City. They beat Fulham, they beat Burnley, and then they lost to Manchester United at Selhurst Park. So look, they're not coming into it as the maybe proposition that we would have faced like a month ago, because they were flying then, and they seem to have stopped in their tracks a little bit. They're suffering a lot with injuries as well coming into this game. I think Eddie Nketiah is a doubt, a big doubt coming into it, and I think Jason Devaney, who's just not much to worry about, I don't think. But they've always got Mateta, Daichi Kamada's out, so they've got big problems actually in the forward line coming into the game. Yeah. So that should give us a bit of hope that we could do something. But on the flip side of that, we've got our own problems. Javi Simmons is out, Kuti Romero's out, but we still have the likes of Mwani, Richarlison and Kudus that can hurt them. So you're looking at the personnel in both the forward lines. You would say ours is a lot stronger, surely. Yeah, at the moment, obviously Pino's doing really well at the moment. I do really like the look of him. I think he's fitted in really well at Palace. I think he had a bit of a slow start, but as in the last month or couple of months, he's really starting to show what he's capable of. Obviously, he was a real big talent out in Spain, and then didn't he pick up a big injury, and then he's recovered from that, and he's now showing again what he's all about. I do really like the look of him. I think it's another good scouting again from Crystal Palace. Nketiah is one of these ones where he's crap, but he'll score against us. Yeah, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not worried about him, but I'm very worried about him. At the same time, he'll just find. It was one of those where he'll probably be out of the game, then he'll just find a moment in front of goal because we've lost our concentration, and he'll finish it. Mateta's obviously a battering ram. He's such a big. He's obviously such a big threat. Wharton, he's obviously the one I'm so worried about because he's just got unbelievable quality. He can really control that midfield. Obviously, Richards got injured in midweek, didn't he? So is he going to be out? He's a big doubt for the game. I think Glasner said that he should definitely be back for the next game, but this game he's not so sure about. Okay, so the back three will likely be what? Richard, Guéhi, Lacroix, and Canvo. And Canvo, Lerma's been playing there. Yeah, we were talking about before in the about Klein and Canvo, so I think they'll both start seeing out because I forgot Richards is out, so I think it'll be Canvo at centre back and then Klein at right wing back. And having Klein at right wing back takes a massive thing out of their play without having Munoz there, because Munoz has just been fantastic, hasn't he, since he's joined there. He's a consistent threat down that right hand side, and crossing ability, shooting ability, he always gets in the right positions, and we should be able to hit them down that side. If even with Mwani there, we should have the upper hand there, surely. He's a massive miss, Munoz. I think he's actually a massive part of how they play because he's so offensive. It's a bit like United when they have Diallo there on the right compared to when they don't. Like when they have Diallo there, it doesn't only make United more offensive, but it makes Buemo so much more lively because all of a sudden they've got two wingers, two threats there. But as soon as you take Diallo out, all of a sudden Buemo's not as effective as he was because he's got extra attention. I think the same as with Palace and whoever their right side attacker is, and Munoz. When Munoz is there, he's like an extra winger, and he's actually got such good delivery in the final third. But you're looking at that, the whole right hand side has been completely decimated. Even at the back as well, Richards, Munoz, Sarr. Mm-hmm. They're all out. This is a big opportunity for us. Absolutely, massive opportunity. Absolutely. Klein is a declining player, for sure. Nketiah in the forward line, he's not a winger. He's definitely a striker. And whoever's that centre-back you said plays, Canvo. I don't know if he's how good he is, but obviously he's a good player. No, he is a good player. Well, he doesn't play often, so... No, because he's a young player. He's 19 years of age. Right. So but whenever he's come in, he's done really well, actually. Well, in the Conference League? No, he's played Premier League this season. In that period where Guéhi was suspended or out injured, I can't remember what, but he played in those games and he actually was very good. Okay. Well, he's still 19. You got to try and take... I don't know much about him. Maybe he's great, but
you got to try and take put a 19-year-old under pressure for sure. So maybe Moani should be there just because of that physicality, and maybe because he might make them ask questions. 100%, that should be an area in theory where you got the upper hand.
Well, you say that, but our left-hand side is our weakest spot.
Yeah, but then again, you look at the players, Spence, maybe Moani. I mean, those are two good players in there.
Even if it's Tell or Odebear, they should be taking control on that left-hand side.
Yeah, that should be the side we're more dominant. Although Mitchell's looked quite tired, I feel, in recent weeks. He's played every game. He didn't even get a rest again in the Conference League. He played that game as well. So he looks like he Kudus maybe can get some spare change out of him, but obviously he's a good player on that side. But Kudus has to try and physically dominate him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Did he play against Arsenal? Yeah, he did. He played against Arsenal, Mitchell. He got taken off. When did he get taken off? Oh, he got taken off right in the last minutes of stoppage time. They had 11 minutes added on there, went all the way to penalties, didn't they, against Arsenal? Canvo actually came on at wing-back for Klein at half-time. So maybe they were...
So Klein did start?
Klein started. I thought he didn't start because I only watched from the start the second half and I saw Canvo there, so I thought he just started. But Canvo came on at half-time for Klein, and Nketiah went off at half-time for Jason Devaney. I mean, Devaney plays quite a lot at the moment, but he doesn't really worry me too much. But I say that now, he's probably going to score. But
he looks all right, actually. I'm not saying anything special, but he's quite a confident young player. Took this penalty well, fought in the shootout.
Yeah.
He does quite well when I see him. Not like a world beater, but like decent. He's like not a bad player.
Yeah.
I think they'll play probably Wharton, and if the back three is what you say, probably Wharton and Lerma then in the midfield too.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of energy and a lot of muscle, and obviously Wharton brings that technical ability. He's one you just got to stop playing. He is so good with his passing. It's ridiculous. You give him 1 centimetre and he can open you up.
Yeah.
And that's what we just got to try and avoid.
Another player that we need to be worried about going the other way is Mark Guéhi. He's actually a really big attacking threat, isn't he? How many goal contributions has he got this season? It's just mad.
All competitions, like 7, 8, 9 or something.
It's mad. Like, he is a consistent goal threat for them, particularly from set pieces. You saw against Arsenal. He was the one that scored the goal to send it to penalties at the end. And that's a team who are, very solid at the back. We're not very solid at the back. No. So we need to be very worried of him.
Absolutely. He's obviously, whether he moves in January or not, we'll see. But he's been phenomenal for Palace. He's not let it affect him, the speculation about Liverpool, the failed move. A lot of players might even subconsciously get distracted or have their head turned. But Guéhi's just kept his head down, kept doing what he's doing, and he's been phenomenal this season.
How do you think the dynamic, though, of Crystal Palace's season, because there's so much uncertainty around Crystal Palace right now? Obviously, there's the Guéhi thing, and he could very much go in January. There's now the thing about the manager with Oli Glasner, like Romano came out with last week saying that it's been decided he's not signing a new contract. So that means he's leaving at the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see, are Palace going to be able to hold it together from now until the end of the season, or are we going to see an implosion there?
Yeah, I think they're a smart enough team that if Glasner leaves, that they can still be okay. Whether they'll be as good as they were under Glasner, probably not. They're right now in the Europe.
You've got the Mateta situation as well.
FA Cup. Yeah, Mateta might be out. I think Palace are a really well-run club, and they do things in a really smart way. And I think they're one of those teams. They're one of those ownerships where I'm not saying they're not going to try and do everything to keep Glasner and Mateta, all these players, but they're not scared of losing them. Although I say that and they didn't let go of Guéhi, but I think they plan for these things, eventualities. I think, of course, if you're a Palace fan, there's a lot to be concerned about with the lack of certainty of what's happening on. You've got a really good thing going at the moment with Glasner, a really good thing going. And obviously you don't want to change it because you're putting all that good work at risk and all this stuff. But I also think that they're not going to make promises to Glasner they can't keep. And I think that's the crux of the issue at the moment with the whole situation. Glasner's obviously like, okay, I've won you an FA Cup. I've shown with you, my full team, what I can do. Like, you've just got to give me more money. And Palace are basically saying, look, we can try, but I don't know. You're going to have to keep selling your best player essentially if you want more money. Like we don't have the money that you want.
I don't know if we're like Palace are not that team like where they can keep going under any manager like a Brighton or like a Brentford. I think the setup's a bit different at Crystal Palace. Like Glasner's obviously done unbelievably well to do what he's done, but they've lost Elise. They've brought in Ismaili Assar. I think that's obviously a massive drop in quality there, but he's done very well to get the quality out of him that he has done this season. They've taken out Eze. Who did they bring in? They've got like a Daichi Kamada or someone else, or Pino, that have come in. Obviously, there's a massive drop in quality there. Like, and I think Pino's done all right, but he hasn't. I don't think he's like blown anyone away with his performances.
Better.
Yeah, he's done all right. When Guéhi leaves, you know, they're not going to bring anyone in close to that quality, I don't think. When Mateta leaves, you need to replace him with a guy that gets 15 to 20 goals a season. Like I've got a feeling once Glasner leaves, I think Palace can have a massive drop off.
Yeah, I agree that they're going to drop off. They're not going to be as good as they are, but I don't think they're going to go down. Is my point. They, which I think at the moment for Palace, as much as the thing is right now for Palace, it's a dream to be where they are. This is not where they expect to be. This is like incredible, European football winning trophies. That's their first ever trophy. In their history. Yeah. So that's the context of the situation they're in. This is a heightened version of Crystal Palace. This is what they, Glasner's built. My only point is, if Glasner leaves, there will be a massive drop-off, don't get me wrong, and they won't be as good as they are now. But I think they're smart enough to keep themselves in the Premier League and until maybe a point where they get the next Glasner. I don't think the next Glasner might happen straight away, but I think they'll keep themselves above water until maybe they can balance the situation. I think they're a smart recruitment.
You know what? If Frank loses his job,
that would be a perfect appointment.
If Frank loses his job at Spurs, I think he'd be brilliant for Palace. Kevin Shardy just scored.
Yeah. Can't believe it.
Just for context, I've got Kevin Shardy as a star man in Predict the Prem this week.
In terms of Frank, he's been talking a lot in the last. There's some quotes I'm not making.
I swear, this guy, he's on like these Sky Sports interviews every single week. Did he get the tactics board out this time?
Well, a couple of quotes I've made raised a few eyebrows from him. First one, he's talking about where the expectations versus reality. He is saying, I think we're in a transition phase. We are a Champions League club, but are we a Champions League club? We only qualified because we're on Europa League. We didn't qualify because we were one of 4 or 5 best clubs in the Premier League last season. We finished 17th. He then goes on to say...
Well, did you have a problem with that quote?
I don't have a problem with the quote. I just don't like the message it sends. I feel like it's an excuse-making kind of quote.
Yeah, which is fair enough, but I think it's also reality, what he's saying.
It's reality. I get that, and that's absolutely right. We didn't finish in the top 4 or 5 last season. We did finish 17th.
Didn't even hit 40 points last season.
We didn't hit 40 points last season, but we also know the reasons for that. It's not because all the players are crap. We know that. That's not why what happened last season happened.
Yeah,
There's a lot of reasons why it happened.
Do you think we would have got Champions League without the injuries last season?
No, probably not. But still, but he's saying 17th, and we did win a European trophy. So these are players good enough to do that.
Yeah.
He says, we didn't. And now we need to compete in the Champions League while we're competing in the Premier League, which is the most difficult thing. The last time we did that was 3 years ago when we finished 8th. That's reality. Something happened with the squad over those 3 years. Then the year after, with no Europe, some of the key offensive players were Maddison, Guéhi, Son, who were not here anymore, and they're long-term absentees. So that's just some of the reality. So he's kind of pointing, I guess, to that as to why we're performing the way we are at the moment, which I understand what he's saying, and I think there is sympathy there. Like, I understand we're missing these players. I understand where we were, what happened last season, what happened to the league results, and that's what he's picking up from. I get that, but this isn't the first few weeks of his job anymore. We are now nearly halfway through the season. and we are a shambles, really.
Mm-hmm.
We're as good as some relegation teams when it comes to going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever excuse he wants to pull, our key offensive players are injured. They are, but you do have some good offensive players there. They're not rubbish. They're not no ones. These are internationals. These are big money signings, and I get they might take some time to bed in, but 6 months you should start seeing some better stuff, I would assume. Now, to be fair, Brentford was better, but apart from that, it's been really slim pickings, and it's been slim pickings throughout a lot of the season. Now, early in the season, we looked like we had a bit more of a plan on the ball. I felt just as much as it wasn't pretty, there was something. As the season's gone on, it seems as though we've gotten worse for a lot of the season when it comes to how we've been playing on the ball, and that's obviously got to be a massive concern. I just feel like he's not taking enough accountability for what's happening on the pitch. I feel like he's trying to...
What would you want him to say?
Like at the moment, I would like him to say, going forward, we're nowhere near where we want to be, and we need to do a lot better, not give excuses, this, that, 17th, no, we don't have the key offensive players. I don't want to hear that. We knew that. We knew it from the beginning of the season. I doubt the messaging from the beginning of the season is, look, Maddison, Guéhi and Solanke are not... Maddison and Guéhi are not fit. So for the first 6 months, we're not going to have a shot on target. Like, that's not... I'm sure that wasn't the messaging from the beginning. Okay, it's a bit hyperbolic, but from the first 6 months, it's going to be really difficult to attack. Like, I'm sure the plan was, we're going to put plans in place, we're going to set up this way, we're going to try and attack these teams, and it's just not working. So I don't want to hear him bring up the fact that we're missing those specific players, because he's got offensive players. That's the key point here. It's almost as if what's he trying to say then about Moani and Javi and Kudus? What's he saying about them and the fact he's bringing up the missing offensive players? Does it mean he doesn't think they're good? What's he trying to say?
Well, I think that he said it multiple times on Javi that he's new to the Premier League and he needs to adapt still, which is fair enough. I think there's validity to that. Moani is probably the same, but the reality is we should be doing a lot better than what we are with the players that we've got, 100%. But at this point, what are we trying to do? We're just trying to pick apart everything that he's saying.
Just analysing what he's saying.
Like, what is there to analyse over it apart from he's making a few excuses, which kind of like most managers do when they're under pressure. That's all it is. He's under pressure right now, and
it's whether the excuses are valid or not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
I think there is a lot of validity to what he's saying. I think there is, but I think two things can be right in terms of what he's saying could be spot on as well. But then on the flip side of that, he should be doing a lot better with what he has as well. So I think there could be merits to both sides of the argument, to be honest.
I think I've been fair to Frank since he's come in. I really do. I haven't asked for the world. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm really not. I'm asking.
You just asked for a shot on target.
Basically, yeah. I'm asking for a chance to be created. Is that too much to ask? Like, I'm asking to build a team so that we can create chances. And I think we've got the players to do that. So being near the bottom of the league for a lot of those metrics is just basically he's failing even the basement of what I'd expect from a manager. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So when he comes with these excuses, is it an excuse? Is it a reason why we're maybe not where the fans want to be, top 6 or whatever? Yeah, I completely get that. That's fair. Is it an excuse to be 14th and to be one of the worst attacking teams currently when it comes to the metrics? Is it in the league? No. It's not an excuse to be like that. So that's what I'm saying. And I feel like he's saying it's an excuse. It's like that's the reason we are that, but it's not.
Yeah, look, it's a hard one. I agree with you to a certain extent, that his excuses are not excuses that wash with pretty much anyone why we're so bad offensively and why we're so bad going forward. And on top of that, everyone keeps saying how good we are defensively. We're not good defensively, and we keep conceding chances and we keep conceding goals, and we're like an open book at this moment in time. But you also say that it's got worse and worse progressively throughout the season on the ball and with our creating chances. Well, I think like 3 or 2 out of our last 3 games or 3 out of our last 4 games, we've probably created more than we did in the previous 5 games. So it's not getting worse. In the last couple of games, it's got better if you take the Nottingham Forest game out of it.
We can't take that game out of it. But
but that's 1 out of the last 4 games, right?
Last 4, Slavia, Brentford and Liverpool.
Yeah, and I think we created an over 1 XG in all of those.
Yeah.
When before then it was like under 0.5.
That's fair. Frank says... he said, "I think it's the biggest."
You see what I mean, though? I say that, and you roll your eyes because you don't want to like believe it too, but it is true.
I mean, you can't. I mean, one of our worst defensive displays is in there, so it's hard to say, "Oh, we're doing."
We were talking about offensive.
Yeah, I'm talking. That was also one of our worst defensive displays.
Defensive or offensive?
Offensive.
Oh, okay.
Offensive.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So, like, okay, it was a bit better against Brentford. No, it's a lot better against Brentford. Liverpool, okay, that was more a battling performance where we threw the kitchen sink. I wouldn't say it was much to do with our creativity, but look, it was better. It was better. Slavia was decent, but again, it took 2 penalties and no goal to score. But fine, we still created more chances in that game. So slim pickings. I guess you could argue it's better, but it's not exactly great. But it's better.
No one's saying it's great, but you're saying it's getting progressively worse. Well, but I'm just saying...
And one of our worst defensive displays is
fine.
A week ago.
But in terms of that Nottingham Forest game, in the context of the last 3 or 4 games, that's kind of like the exception of the rule, isn't it? Because like that was the really poor game. The other ones haven't been nowhere near as poor as that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just thinking it through. I would say it's fair, but if those represent, apart from maybe Brentford, if those are what's going to represent good attacking displays, then that's not good.
At this moment, who knows? If it's got better from 5 games, in the last 10 games, the first 5 games were terrible, the next 5 games have been okay, all we can ask for is moving in the right direction after it's been so poor. That's all we can ask for right now.
Well, that's the minimum, I would say.
Yeah, the minimum, for sure.
He says, I think it's the biggest ongoing thing to work on is still the offensive part of the game. It's not that we haven't worked on it. And I said it's not that it hasn't been a big focus. I think we started the season quite well on it, then had a dip, and now I think we're on the up, actually. Look, I'll give him credit. It's been a bit better in the last 4 games, apart from the Forest game. That's true. But... let's see if it continues.
That's all we can do.
That would be my point.
That's all I'm saying.
But my point is nothing to shout about. Like,
I agree with that.
I don't think like I would be saying if him like we're doing much better offensively. Well, I guess he's not saying that. He says we're on the up, but I want to see it a bit more before I say we're getting better. Like, I don't think there's enough evidence to say we are getting better. It's a little spell, but then we could easily go the next 3 games not. You know what I mean? So let's see it continue before we say it's getting better, is what would be my point. This I found a bit of a peculiar quote. He said, we've lost twice in a row, but we haven't had 2 bad performances in a row this season.
Yeah, I don't know what he's smoking there.
that was a bit, I don't know what he considers a good performance, if that's what he's saying. It's really odd, I felt.
We've had plenty of not good performances in a row, to be honest. We've had plenty.
So, yeah, that was a really strange quote, I felt, from him.
I mean, we played Wolves and Boda in a row. Those were 2 terrible displays. Aston Villa, Monaco, 2 terrible displays. Chelsea, I guess that was followed on by the Copenhagen game.
What was before the Chelsea game?
You know what? He might have a point. Before the Chelsea game was Newcastle in the Cup. The league game before that was the Everton game. In terms of the league, looking at it, I don't think we've had too many disasters in a row. Looking at it now.
Too many disasters.
Because we had Burnley, then Man City, then Bournemouth. Bournemouth's obviously horrific. Then we followed that up with a 3-0 win against West Ham. Then we went to Brighton, 2-2, which was okay. Then the Wolves game. And after the Wolves game was the Leeds game, which we won. And after the Leeds game was Villa, which was rubbish.
Okay, to be fair, look, if you're taking the quote, what he said on face value to what you're saying, he hasn't said we have always played well after having a bad game. He says we haven't had 2 bad games in a row. So what you're saying is we haven't had... So what you're saying is 2 disasters in a row. So a bad game followed by a kind of mid to bad game would qualify that.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
Well, he's actually wrong because I found one here. Because we played Arsenal away and then we played Fulham at home.
Okay, there you go. But
that's pretty much the only one.
Right, but have we had 2 good games in a row?
No, but that's not what you're saying. That's not what we're picking apart here.
If you're taking that at face value, I think you're slim pickings, but maybe just about gets away with it. I don't know. I still think it's an odd quote, in my opinion. Because he should have higher standards than that. But anyway.
100%. 100% he should. But we're trying to pick apart a quote he's saying here.
I'm not picking apart, just that's what he said and we're reacting to it.
Yeah, and we're coming up with evidence for it.
Yeah, we're trying to see if it's true. We haven't had 2 bad performances in a row. I think that is... I think in a different context, you would say... you would say he has, but maybe in the context of transition, blah, 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 maybe...
It's the context of the standards that he's set. That's what we're talking about.
It depends what he qualifies as bad. For example, Newcastle away, we got the point, but it was a bad performance. Like, we got a 2-2, but we was lucky. We shouldn't. He would maybe say that wasn't. Maybe he would say... Look, maybe he would say it wasn't a bad performance. You go away to Newcastle and you take a point. Doesn't mean... I'm talking... Forget the result. I'm talking about performance. He said we haven't had 2 bad performances in a row, not results. It was a great result. Performance wasn't good. We were lucky. We got it because Romero shin kicks a overhead kick in the last minute into the back of the net. We didn't deserve anything out of that game, but we got something fair. But I'm saying that's a bad performance. He maybe doesn't think that. Yeah, but I think, Boda, maybe he thinks, okay, we 2-0 down. No, Boda was an horrific performance. But Newcastle, I look at the Newcastle game a lot differently to the Boda game because I think Newcastle, if you go down, you're down 2-0, 2-1, whatever it was, and you fight back the way we did, I thought it was a good fight back from Spurs. You gotta take that as a positive. Regardless of the performance. I'm not saying the results. No, I know what you're saying, but even on the context of the game and how poorly we played, I'm still looking at that game positively because of the way we battled back and what we took from it, regardless of the performance. Okay, but I'm just trying to get into Frank's head what he qualifies, what he sees as a good performance. Good performance from him is probably having 1 shot on target. But anyway, look, I just think some of these quotes are interesting from Frank. And, people reacting to them in their usual manner. How do you think Spurs approach this game? Is it going to be Spurs with all the possession trying to break down this Palace team? I think Palace are going to give us possession. Yeah. So it's not about whether we want it or not. They're going to give it to us, and we're going to probably... Are we going to want it? Are we going to give the possession back? This football's going to be treated like a hot potato, I think, in this game. So I don't see it being a very pretty game to watch. I think not many Tottenham games are, but I think this one again will probably not be. And we're probably going to be toiling away, trying to break down this 5 at the back and having little success. Maybe a shot will deflect in the goal. Palace will create the better chances, but then we'll tire late in the game and we'll be settled for trying to defend a 1-goal lead. We'll tire or they'll tire? They will tire. Oh, they'll tire. They'll tire near the second half. And they'll be sitting back defending, I would imagine, a potentially 2-goal lead, but I'm going to go 1-goal lead. And we're probably going to get a bit of luck. Someone will, I think, a shot will deflect in and we'll claim a credible draw. And then people at the end of the game were saying, you take a point at Palace. What a great result. But the performance will be a lot to be desired. There you have it. You don't even need to watch the game. Sim's mapped it out all for you. That's it. I've predicted it. You don't need to watch the game. You can enjoy your day without Tottenham ruining it. Don't waste 90 minutes. That's what's going to happen. Well, there you have it. Well, don't tune into the watch along tomorrow. Don't watch the game because you know exactly what's going to happen now because Sim has mapped it all out for you. But let's hope we can take the 3 points because if we lose tomorrow, then, possibility of falling even further down the league. Yeah, that's the worry. West Ham are currently playing now, Fulham, 0-0. If West Ham do win and we don't, it's getting scary.
Yeah, so they'll be on 16 and we'll stay on 22. Anyway, I think Fulham are going to win. And if Fulham win, though...
If Fulham win, it's getting scary.
If Fulham... Like, how can Fulham be potentially like 5 points ahead of us? That's mad.
What? Ahead? I thought you were going to say to go ahead. No, they are ahead.
No, right now, Fulham are 2 points ahead of us.
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say to go ahead of us. Jesus. That's crazy. And so who's in 15th at the moment?
Bournemouth.
So they're 1-0 down. Okay, that's good. And then it's Forest who lost. All right, the results are going our way this weekend, people.
Who are Leeds got this weekend?
Sunderland.
Sunderland at home.
Away.
All right, that's all right.
Right.
Nothing to worry about this
Nothing
weekend,
to
people.
worry
We're
about.
clear of relegation. Don't you worry. All we can do is hope and pray for a good performance and a good win.
No, we
And-
could win tomorrow. I think there is a good chance because, as I said, there are the problems that Palace have. If we do start to click, and if Frank is right, and we are on the up offensively, and we just haven't, and maybe the red cards ruined that game against Liverpool, and maybe we would have won or taken something out of that game if it didn't happen, and maybe we are really on the up, and maybe Forest was a one-off in the last 4 games, and if that's true, he needs to prove it tomorrow,
Absolutely.
and he's going to have to prove it without Xavi and Romero.
Well, forget what I said before, but please do join the watch along tomorrow and tune in for the watch along. Sim and Marlon here in the studio. I am on my way to Selhurst Park with the returning Amir back from Toulouse.
Come on,
So
Amir.
I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow. And looking forward to the game. Don't know if I'll be... I might have that funny feeling when I wake up tomorrow. And we'll see what happens, people. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.